You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub and their Send shuttle for just $17 round trip to and from the CTC. Visit them for great food, awesome drinks, 779 Bank Street. The Postcast is always brought to you by the GCP, where the vibes are free. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Pillar. Martian is on his way home from the rink and will be on in a matter of minutes. Ottawa Senators get a win over the Tampa Bay Lightning, 5-4 the final score, and this team does not quit. Unlike the LA game where they were behind the whole game and came back, this time they kept getting leads and giving them up to ties. Pilsy, how'd you see this one develop?
This was great Sens hockey, Ross. Like, there are so many performances I want to highlight here. They get the 5-4 win at home, matinee game for the good people at the CTC. They hold on. Forsberg holds the fort at the end of the game. It was close, but he shut the door when he needed to at the end. And you see great performances from Timmy, Drake, Sanderson. I could go on. So these are the types of games, Ross, you need to win when it looks like you're the underdog and you're down and out, but you're at home. You're up against a division rival that's undefeated all year, and you smack them and you hand them a quick L. Love that.
There's now no teams in the Eastern Conference that are perfect. Only two teams remain, the Winnipeg Jets and Calgary Flames. Tampa, no more, because Ottawa takes care of business on home ice. Let's start with the biggest turning point in this game.
Ooh.
Second period was solid, and then they give up a squeaker to Jake Gensel with just 2 minutes left. They could, and in the past probably would, have sat back, felt sorry for themselves, and gone into the locker room. No, they go out, earn a power play, and Brady Tkachuk, the captain, gets a goal with 1 minute and 4 seconds left in the period, allowing them to go into the break up a goal. Was that the biggest moment for you, or do you want to go somewhere else?
That was definitely a huge one, Ross. And we always talk about momentum goals, and that was kind of a double momentum goal. Yeah, exactly. I know you like those double momentum goals. And that's why, Ross, it's so important that Brady Tkachuk is the net front guy, not just because he's a big guy and he's used to being in front of the net so he can handle the cross checks, he can handle the battles, but He's so quick on the rebounds. And I know lots of people are kind of like, I'm sick of seeing Brady just jam it into pads. Well, that is going to happen. But then when he's quick enough and he can catch the goalie off guard, he's not jamming it into pads. He's jamming it through pads. So that was a massive goal for the captain, his second of the season, as he got credited with the late goal last game, and 2 power play goals for Brady. You'll love to see it.
Certainly do. I should have named this special teams instead of power play, because another one of the biggest moments of the game was Noah Gregor short-handed. And they kill off the 5-on-3. Forsberg will get, there was a couple squeakers today, but he was rock solid on that 5-on-3. And especially, Pillsy, my favorite save was right after the 5-on-3 expired, the biggest save on Kucherov. That shot from the Rockstar zone that he has, he got 1 goal there today, but 2 big stops from Forsberg. But after they killed off the first one, the guys were still dog tired. Same killers out there, plus the guy out of the box. And he gets a shot from the point from Hedman. No rebound. Get the whistle. Get the fresh legs out. And, oh, guess what? Those fresh legs go on a 2-on-1 the other way and get the goal. Either that or the 3 blocks that created that. And those aren't just blocks from killers. That was a block from Hamonic first. You expect that.
Yeah.
Then it was Norris and Giroux laying out to get stops. Unbelievable heart over hype in this game.
Love it. Yeah. And that's, we talked about it, Ross. This team lacks speed, but they have a guy with speed in Noah Gregor, and he showed it on that shorthanded goal. But I want to highlight Shane Pinto. Great hockey IQ, and they showed it and talked about it on the replay. He scoops up that loose puck after it gets blocked, and I would have had no issue if he gets the puck, doesn't think about it, just dump it out of there, get rid of it. That's fine. That's a simple, safe play. But he has the hockey IQ to get the puck, head up, quick calculation. All right, me and Noah Gregor, if we both get on our speed, turn the burners on, we're going to have a 2-on-1. Sure, it's up against Victor Hedman, one of the best defensemen in the league, but we got confidence and we're going to do this. He makes that split decision, heads up ice, and waits. And then Hedman decides, I'm just going to go full aggressively at Pinto. He waits for Hedman to go aggressively at him, gets it over to Gregor, and then Gregor could have just been like, whew, I'm flying here. I'm just going to get a puck on net, shorthanded. We'll see what happens. No, he pulls out the beautiful backhand move and goes upstairs on Vasilevskiy. What an emphatic goal for your first goal as a member of the Ottawa Senators. Noah Gregor, Ross, is he's looking nice. And you called it. They switched the lines up and they moved Noah Gregor. They move. Where did they move?
Third line.
Yeah, to get that third line going, they move Giroux down a bit and then bump Amadio up to the top line. And that seemed like it was just enough of a shakeup to cause this team to do things a little bit differently than they had been in the previous games.
And I know you said Giroux. He did have an assist on another goal tonight. It was Shane Pinto on that 2-on-1 passover. And to pick up there, Pillsy, a point for Shane Pinto. The Senators improved to 42-10-6.
Of course.
When Shane Pinto gets a point. Absolutely incredible. I thought that it was all about the commitment on the defensive side of the puck. Sure, they let in 4 goals on 29 shots, and we'll get to the bad. There was some for sure, but you also, and I feel bad saying this, but back-to-back games against Stanley Cup contending teams, you do have to tip your hat sometimes, and the Lightning were opportunistic on some of their chances. Others we probably don't love as much. But when you get 2 power play goals, Senators power plays got to be top in the league. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Has to be top in the league. The way that they're all over the place. And then they get that shorty on top of it. But we've gone too far into the show, and I'm not waiting for my Sens Central standouts for this. Drake Batherson was an absolute dog in this game. He had two unbelievable goals and then adds an assist on top of it. I thought that he was the straw that stirred the drink early in this game as things got going.
Ross, quick stat check for you. The Ottawa Senators are 3rd in league power play with 37.5. I'm assuming that's updated. No, that's not updated. Woo! So they only have 4 games played there. So
add another 40% to the mix.
So 77.5. That's how math works, right? The only teams ahead of them before today's games were the Winnipeg Jets and Colorado Avalanche. So you're in good company there. And we never really thought the power play was going to be an issue, Ross. Like, I think
50% on home ice per Chris Fortin.
Love it. Thanks, Chris.
That's 1 out every 2, math guy.
even last year, we had faith in the power play unit. They just couldn't see. It seemed like the coaching staff didn't find the right ways to use them. We were pulling our hair out with Josh Norris not being in the one-timer spot. The drop pass was getting ridiculous, all these kinds of things. But we knew the talent was there, and they had the ability, if they can figure out how to successfully work the power play, to capitalize on those chances. And they do it quickly here, Ross, in this game. Scoring on the 5-on-3. Now, most people are going to say, well, you got to score on 5-on-3s, which is true. You do have to. But what I loved about the way they did that 5-on-3 is they didn't force anything. I thought there was a couple times where sometimes, and Timmy's got a good shot, so I don't always hate it when he does this, but sometimes he just forces a wrister through when there's traffic in front, which is sometimes a good play. But this time, he's patient with it. They moved the puck around, and they were doing a good job of what some of the most successful power play teams do in cycling and switching positions to keep that penalty killing moving. And they don't know when you're going to attack. And then they saw a slight opening, Giroux did, to send it over to Batherson, and Batherson makes no mistake. He one-times that in the net to get things going. And that I felt, and people in the chat, if you were at the game, let us know, that really got the place rocking, and that started the momentum off on a really good foot for this Sens team.
You know what continued the momentum?
Let's hear it.
Tim Stutzle throwing his weight around in the second period. Connor Sheary have a seat, and then Ryan McDonough takes a run at him. Look, I was up clapping the fact that Tim Stutzle stayed on his feet. That's
for that
a
reverse
big
hit.
man.
Yep.
And then what's he do? He goes, no, that's not enough. I'm going to finish my check on you. You want to hit me? I'll hit you. And he rocked him. And Thomas Hickey, former NHL defenseman, top 5 pick, quote tweeted and said, Ryan McDonough is not an easy guy to knock off his feet. And I said, neither's Tim Stutzle.
Hey, Ross, also former defenseman Mark Mathot had something to say about that hit too. So you love to see that. He says, I love this from Stutzle. Nice to see him take matters into his own hands and bring some passion in the game. And that's a good point, because I think normally Timmy would have been like, okay, I stood my ground on the reverse hit. That's good enough. I'll head to the bench. Maybe Brady will give him a little extra in the corner after this. But Timmy says, no. Tinted Timmy is a dog, D-A-W-G, and he's like, I'll handle this myself. So those are the kinds of plays and the attitude adjustment you need to see from a player like Tim Stutzle.
And this game could have gone the other way in the third period, man. What'd you think about getting even down 5-on-3? Because it felt like it was just a scrum. Norris pushes Cirelli off balance. He two-hands him the other way. Scrum ensues. Only Nick Paul dropped his gloves at everybody in the scrum, and Ottawa came away with the extra penalty. I didn't really understand that.
I mean, that one was on Norris. I think what happened is Norris, one of the Sens players' sticks hit Norris in the face, and I think maybe he thought it was the Lightning guy, because he did, like, that's clearly an interference call. The puck's already gone, and Norris just gives him a good shove. And obviously, was it Cirelli or Hagel on that one?
Cirelli gave a shove too.
Yeah, and then Cirelli's like, well, that's bullshit. Like, I'm not dealing with that, and gives him a slash there. So I'm not too shocked that that's the way the penalties went there. But the best part of that whole play, Ross, was afterwards, Brady and Hagel had a full conversation between the benches, and shout out Sportsnet producer director, the tight shot on both of them going back and forth. So
could have left the mics on between the benches.
I don't think it was PG to leave the mics on. I mean, Brandon Pillar, not a lip reader. That's why I tried to outsource it to the people on Twitter. Hopefully someone gets back to me, but now it looked like a very interesting conversation, especially when Brady starts going, okay.
At one point I saw him say, what, you don't want me to be happy? What, you don't want me to be happy?
Well, I did have someone on Twitter say it seemed like Hagel was being like, your brother's got a cup and you don't. And Brady's like, hey, I'm happy for my family. I think that's the translation the Twitter user had there. So that could be along the lines. Also, like, weird chirp, like, your brother won a Stanley Cup. Yeah, I got great hockey genes. My dad's a legend. My brother won the cup. I'm the captain of this team. Like, sick chirp, buddy.
Yeah, that's not going to land that hard, I don't think, either way. What did land, and it doesn't even land when you got pumped in the first round on the way to that Stanley Cup by Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah. So
that's neither here nor there, though. What I do love, though, is that Brady Tkachuk followed up that late goal that meant absolutely nothing with a goal that meant a ton today near the end of the second period. Huge goal for Ottawa. They hang on and win this one 5-4. the final score. Jake Sanderson with 3 assists in this game. Drake Batherson, 2 goals and an assist. And Claude Giroux, 2 assists. Those are your multi-point Senators in this game. We still got plenty of Sens Central standouts. We've got Lalime's Martian, boots on the ground. He'll be on in a few minutes as he beats the traffic all the way home from the rink. In the meantime, let me tell you about the Glebe Central Pub, because the Postcast would not exist without the Glebe Central Pub. We love our friends over at 779 Bank Street. Our guy Andrew Fleming posted an awesome reel if you want to relive the home opener and all the festivities that happened before then at the Glebe Central Pub. That's over on Instagram, Andrew Fleming Photo. And he tagged us. You can head over to Locked On Sender. Shoot Andrew a follow, great Sens fan, awesome dude. And it was all thanks to the Glebe Central Pub, where you get great food, awesome drinks. I had the wings. Wings are such a pleaser after a game because the bus takes you right back to the pub. So why not sit down? Game highlights are on the TV. You're feeling good. You can throw some darts if you want. And that's all at the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street. Make sure when you buy your tickets online for $17, just put a little check there. Locked On Senators sent you. And oh yeah, on Sens game days, let them know that Locked On Senators sent you, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. The vibes are free at the GCP. The vibes are free at the GCP.
Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money for sports fans. With over 10 million members and billion dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You guys heard me. That's not a typo in the ad read. You can win 100 times your money. Even math guys like Ross and I know that's big winnings. All you need is as little as 4 correct picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win that $5 to win the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Think about all the bets you can make and the plays you can do on PrizePicks. Guys, download the app today and use Locked On NHL to get $50 instantly after you place your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup with the code Locked On NHL. PrizePicks, run your game.
All right, welcome back. It's the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan. That's Brandon Pillar. Make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast and share it with all your friends. You can also follow us on social media at Sens Central on Twitter. I mentioned LockedOn.Senators on Instagram. The chat is buzzing because they're 3-1 on home ice. 3-1 on home ice. Say it. I got to say it with passion. It's true. They haven't all been easy, but they're wins.
And Ross, we're talking about our 7-game regular season playoff series. Sens are up 3-2 here, but they got a tough game on the road. First ever game 6 road game in Utah, Salt Lake City. So that'll be interesting. And hopefully we get some news about a certain number 35 getting back in the mix. But I feel like some people, obviously, the save percentage not great for Forsberg, but this is a team that can score goals, play run and gun type of style of game. So as long as he keeps you in it and he shuts the door at the end with the goalie pulled, I mean, that's what you want from a backup goalie in my mind. So not the best performance from Forsberg, but you get the win. So I'm happy with it, Ross.
Oh, I'm thrilled. And the big part about the goaltending is at least you have one. Right? It's not like, oh my goodness, we need to go find a goalie. You got one.
Which is what we were feeling like a week ago.
Which means you just got to get him healthy and 100%. And we will play Travis Green's audio if and when the Senators post that on YouTube during the show. But apparently Travis Green smirked when asked if he'd be ready for Tuesday in Utah. It does sound, though, that not only Linus Ullmark, but Ridley Gregg will accompany the team on this road trip.
Good.
That's the good news. The bad news is nothing on Artem Zub. So, hey, You know what? Stick taps to Travis Hamonic. He had a good game today. Yeah. Travis Hamonic played a good game, had that huge block shot on the 5-on-3, and overall was just not noticeable, which for me is an awesome night for Travis Hamonic.
Yeah, we didn't see any crazy beaver tailing, calling for passes. He was blocking shots. He did have 4 penalty minutes, but did they score on any of those penalties?
No, Sens PK was 3 for 3 with a shorty. How are you?
Yep, perfect. There we go. My hot take of Sens being top 15 in power play and penalty killing is looking pretty good right now. But yeah, that's what you want from Travis Hamonic. I thought Clevin had a nice game too. He did almost have a huge hit at center ice, but I feel like he knew if he finished that hit, he would have taken himself out of play. So I think at the last second, he veered off there. But overall, a good game from Clevin. And Jake Sanderson continues to excel offensively. But Ross, I am a little concerned. We've had a bunch of consistent games where Sandy's playing over 25 minutes, and I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's a long season. We've seen this before. It's a long season, and if the Sens are hoping to go past 82 regular season games, you got to make sure Sandy's not burnt out by the time they get there.
That's a fair comment, but for now, you ride your horse. It was on national TV, so you can stick it to all the people in the comments from my tweet yesterday about Jake Sanderson. I know I said 4. I got excited. It was 3 because they added an assist on that Gregor goal because Sandy had a beautiful clear to Pinto where I think a lot of guys would have just chipped that out. He waited an extra second, saw Pinto, outlet, and away they went. Man, what an absolute player Jake Sanderson is. 3 assists. That gives him, 7 points in 5 games in this season. And the Ottawa Senators, by the way, dominate. I think we can use that term now. They dominate the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's 6 wins in their last 8 games head-to-head.
Oof. I didn't realize that, Ross. Wow, that's pretty solid. You love to see that.
I can break it down for you. 3 out of 4 last year, 2 out of 3 the year before. That's 5 out of 7 plus 1. A lot of math on today's postcast. Apologies in the chat. I don't know if people love watching us do math because it's not usually pretty.
No, it's not. But hey, it's that's our comedy section when we try to do math. But yeah, Ross, the Sens are sitting 3-2 right now. You tweeted out, I'm not panicking till Pilsy panics.
I thought you were going to say I tweeted out the Sens are going to be a problem for the whole league. I'm not there yet.
I'm not there yet. On that one, yeah.
I'm not there yet.
And I said, hold on the panic. We are not panicking on the 5th game of the season, ladies and gentlemen. The Senators, and look at the performance they just put with, you mentioned it, no Zub, no Greg, and Linus Ullmark out of the picture. So once they get those guys back, this team's going to look a lot better defensively. There's going to be a little bit more grease in the lineup with Ridley Gregg making the friendship tour continue. So I'm feeling a lot better about this team now than I did coming home from Montreal. Let me tell you that.
Oh, no doubt. And they're showing that they can run and gun. But I also, despite the goals against, I did feel like there was a commitment to defense today.
Yeah, it's certainly better than what we've seen. And that's the thing. I don't know. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ross, or if you got a different opinion. But I can't really think of the goals where I was like, Forsberg had to have that one, or that was a complete
the Gensel one structure. Was a bobbling puck, but there was like that much room, and it went there. It just looked bad. Forsberg been beat. Yeah.
I don't know. So that's a bad goal for Forsberg. He has just a puck space, and it's a quick whack.
Wasn't over his shoulder.
Beats him.
It wasn't over the shoulder. It was between the pad and the blocker.
Fair.
You got to seal off the post, man.
Yeah. I mean, that was a quick bang, bang, bouncing puck play. I'm not upset about that one.
Okay, good. All right. I like that, though. He did have some big saves, though. You got to give it to him there. He did. Before we get to our Sens Central standout, are we nervous about Thomas Chabot? That was not a good performance from him again.
I mean, I thought he had a couple decent defensive plays, but you look at the ice time, Ross, and it kind of reflects that. Like Shabby only playing 20 minutes tonight, where you see Sandy up 26-28. I mean, Sandy's the number 1 power play defenseman, so that's going to jack his ice time a bit. Yeah. But
only 2 extra shifts. But Jensen had 3 more shifts than Chabot.
2 extra shifts, and he had 6.5 minutes more.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the real issue, Ross. That's insane.
Well, Sanderson's got like I don't know if it's because he's up in Montana in the summers training at high altitude, but this guy,
Ross, at the end of his shift, Nodak, they got the altitude room.
Yeah, they do. Well, no, see, that's the difference. And maybe we're just being spoiled with Jake Sanderson now, but it was Thomas Chabot, end of a shift. He couldn't get a change. It was the long change left side in the second period, and he was gassed at the end of that shift where he let Kucherov score from his spot. And again, you tip your hat, but you said double team Kucherov. They 0-teamed him on that play.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. That's where Kucherov is such a smart player, Ross, because most players would go to the Josh Norris office a little higher and a little closer so that the puck gets to you quicker and you got a better angle. But Kucherov knows my release and my accuracy is so darn good that I can drift off into the corner a little bit where teams aren't going to cover me as much because I think it's a bad angle. And if you do cover him more, you're leaving such a wide open space of ice closer towards the slot. But Kucherov knows as long as he gets that pass on the tape, he's going to get it off quicker than any defenseman or goalie can get in the way of it. And I mean, he leads the league in goals with 7 in 4 games. So he knows what he's doing.
30 hits for the Ottawa Senators in this game, and that stat doesn't surprise me. They were physical at every turn in this game. The leaders, you had 4 for Jake Sanderson. How many, Tim? You have 4 for Tim Stutzle.
Yeah.
You had 3 for David Perron, who I thought, despite, again, staying held off the score sheet, I thought David Perron was grinding down low and extending plays in the offensive zone. So I'm thrilled with how this team looked top to bottom. And they battled their way to a 5-4 win. They're 3-2 on the season. And back-to-back games, 1 loss, 1 win, where all the analytics are like pretty even. You look at the expected goals in this one, 52 to 48% with a couple decimals in there. The Corsi, the shot attempts at 5-on-5. Really, what's winning games for this team now in back-to-back home games, LA, and then this one. I know New Jersey was at home too, but they didn't get the win. It's their special teams coming through. 4 power play goals on Monday, 2 more today. They add a shorty, so 3 special teams goals to none today for the Ottawa Senators, and that's a recipe for success. You add a little goaltending in there, and you're laughing. So thrilled with how the Senators look. I was very nervous going into this game because you can't be under 500. And we talked about on Thursday or yesterday, Pilsy, how all the teams in the Atlantic and teams that we're going to be competing with in the wild card race, they all lost. So now you can scoreboard watch feeling a little bit better than if you were after a loss today. So I'm just thrilled with how this team is battling, and they're living up to that. I know I said it already. They're living up to heart over hype. They are showing a ton of heart, not allowing the highs and lows of the game to get to them. They're just grinding it out and doing their business and getting results.
And Ross, a good example of that is I really like this shot too. Shout out Sportsnet director and the camera crew. They got a good shot of it. But when Travis Green on the bench goes up to Nick Cousins and Brady, and I'm not lip reading, but I'm going to assume the conversation. I feel like he was like, boys, we got this. We're under this team's skin. We got them down on the ropes right now. Keep it clean. Don't take any stupid penalties. We got to grind out this win. I know it's emotional right now. I know it's a division rival, but keep it clean. Let's work hard and let's get these 2 points. And even maybe more importantly, Ross, let's not take this past regulation, not let them tie it up and get a point for themselves if it goes to overtime. Because we know at the end of the season, you start adding up those loser points, and it can make and break whether you're in the playoffs or not, or whether a rival of yours gets that playoff spot or not too. So winning in regulation, 1-goal games up against division rivals is critical for this team's success.
Shall we get to our Sens Central standouts presented by the Glebe Central Pub?
I would love to.
We're snapping it around a couple times, and then we'll get Martians whenever he's able to join the stream.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
I get to start?
Yeah, because I hope you take this guy right away, because I have just been glazing him the last week.
I'm going to go Timmy. I'm going Timmy.
Whoa!
I know Batherson is the top guy in this, but I want to talk about Timmy.
Okay. Jake Sanderson. Again, always. It's always Jake Sanderson. He is so good at hockey.
And that was our Sens Central standouts done in 30 seconds. But I want to get into Timmy here because Tinted Timmy is such a dog. I love it. I don't ever want him to change.
Well, when he has 2 hands on his sticks, don't get me started on that tip play by Brady. And he had a breakaway on his hands, and instead he tried to draw contact. I don't know if he wanted a penalty shot or what.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I was going to do a positive sandwich, Ross, but
let's get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way and now go all positive because he was great otherwise.
Positive sandwich. Ross is putting the meat on top and 2 buns underneath. I guess that's how we're doing it here.
I'm fired from Subway.
Yeah, no kidding. That George Brown cooking degree, not hanging around too good here. No. But What the issue I have with that, Ross, is, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because if we're going to talk about the good with Timmy, you got to talk about the bad as well. That 100%, and this is where other fan bases lose their minds, was Timmy being like, I don't have the best chance at getting a quality scoring chance here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position myself in a way that the defenseman's only option is to tie me up, and then maybe I get a call there. And you see him take the outside lane when he had the inside lane, and he switches to the outside lane, removes himself from the puck, and then Moser has to play the body, which is the right play. And then Timmy goes into the boards a little harder than maybe most would at that point. And he turns to look at the ref, and he sees there's no call, and he tries to shrug off like, oh, I didn't just do that. I just, like, that was completely an accident. He was trying to get the call there, and that's fine. That's all right. It happens. That's my qualm with Timmy's game. Now, to the good stuff. When you see Tim Stutzle round out and find more pieces to his game than just being a playmaker, having an elite shot, having the speed, having the dangles, we all know the great things that Tim Stutzle can do when he's on his game, but you see him ramp up the physicality and take matters into his own hands and not let hard-nosed veteran defenseman like McDonough try to shake him off. Like, the fact that he stood his ground on the reverse hit, great job. Head to the bench. That's a great shift, Timmy. But then he's like, nah, I'm going to get my pound of flesh on McDonough, and drills him into the boards in the corner. I love to see that. And you got to think Brady after is telling him, Timmy, that's what we need from you, because I can't fight all your battles for you. So shout out Tim Stutzle on that one. Now, again, the face-off still not great. I think I got it here. Yeah, 0 for 3 on the draws. So still, we got to work on that a little. But overall, I love the way Tim Stutzle is ramping up his physicality. And I think it's going to go a long way for respect, not only from his teammates, but hopefully from around the league.
Could not agree more. Tim Stutzle, the #1 Sens Central standout, presented by the Glebe Central Pub in this game. Lalime's Martian is standing by, but first, Pilsy, you want to tell the good people about our friends over at FanDuel? Because I think you've made amends with them.
Yeah, I certainly have. I'm always a FanDuel guy, Ross, and you can be a FanDuel fan as well, because they're America's #1 sports book. Check out the FanDuel app and website. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you feel like the Sens are buzzing, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play so you're not falling behind in the action while you're placing your bet, and so much more on the same place where you make your bets. And if you're new to FanDuel, you can get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. We love that word, guaranteed, when you place your first $5 bet. So check it out today, guys. It's the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, FanDuel.com.
All right, welcome back. It's the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, Glebe Central Pub, and we've got the man, the myth, the legend. It is Lalime's Martian with boots on the ground. I love that smile. Oh, you and Sparty, good buddies.
Look at that.
Sparty's birthday today, boys. I was just there. It was nice.
I'm surprised you got an invite.
I don't even know what this is. I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's a pillowcase, but look at this puppy.
I dare you to get a good night's sleep on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay my head on this baby tonight.
Look at this kitty, I think you mean, Martian. I'll look at this puppy.
Look at this cat. Look at this cat. Yeah.
Meow.
It's a pillowcase. It's a pillowcase. Yeah.
There you go. You need one of those, I'm sure.
Boys, sorry I'm late. You guys probably covered a lot of it, but it was a great time in the CTC tonight. My boots on the ground record's looking all of a sudden not so bad. So
there you go.
Yeah.
We just started Sens Central standouts. I took Timmy a little bit out of left field, so I think
not
Ross,
at all.
we should snap it to Martian for the next one.
Yeah, and then after the Sens Central standouts, I want to get into the crowd. I want to get into your view from the game, but let's get right into our Sens Central standouts. Who do you have, Martian?
Yeah, for me, it's easy tonight. There's one guy who stood out above the rest, and it was Jake Sanderson. I mean, 3-point night for the guy, 3 assists. He was an absolute mule back there. He led all defensemen in ice time with 26, 28 on ice. That's 6 more minutes than the next guy, 6 and a bit. So he was chugging along tonight. He looked incredible. I think Jake Sanderson is coming into his own. It's only a matter of time before the rest of the league is talking about this guy, because he was a dog tonight. Yeah, so I'm going with Jake Sanderson. Easy pick.
Martian, one thing Ross and I noticed about, you mentioned Jake Sanderson leading time on ice. So Chabot had 20 minutes and 6 seconds. Sandy had 6.5 minutes more than Shabby. in only 2 more shifts.
Yeah. I mean, he was just like, he doesn't get tired out there, boys.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was sitting there with my buddy Brad, and we the little details of the game. We like to dig into those, and we're sitting in the 200 section, which is a perfect spot to view all that. And like, he is covering so much ice with such. It doesn't look like a lot of effort from him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like little step here and there, and he's where he needs to be, and he's making the smart play every single time. Incredible defenseman. We're really lucky to have that guy on our team.
We certainly are, man. Every time I watch him, I just want to like text everyone I know that watches hockey, but maybe not the Senators so much. I want to be like, turn on the Sens game and ISO cam number 85, because every shift he either shimmies someone in the back end. He had a bunch of block shots tonight too. He gets in the way. He's get takeaways. He is an absolute animal out there. And to think he is just 22 as of July is outrageous, just where his ceiling could be in the National Hockey League. I think it's wild where his floor is in the National Hockey League at this point. Just the poise that he plays with is outstanding. So I'm glad that you took him, because Martian, I just told Pillsy earlier, like, the way I've been talking about Jake Sanderson, they're going to ask me to negotiate his next contract in 8 years, because I mean, this is just wild what we're seeing from such a young player. My Sens Central standout, Drake Batherson. I mean, he has to be getting a reputation around the league right now as being one of the most patient puck handlers in the league. That second goal, he waits until there is about an inch between him and the goal line, and is still able to slide it home. It's an unbelievable talent that he has. And then you add in the way he scored the first goal too. Just an unbelievable overall performance from him. First shot of the game too, and he just rips it into the back of the net. Yeah, so I think Drake Batherson, he's been physical and he's been more solid defensively than in years past. And now we're seeing that translate to the other end of the rink. Did it look that way in the arena today, Marsh?
Yeah, 100%. He was sick tonight. Like, all night long, he was a threat. Absolutely. Yeah. Drake Batherson had one of his better games, I think, tonight as an Ottawa Senator that I've ever seen. I think that you said it, he's on the right side of the puck all night, and the offensive, side of things were coming for him as well. So really happy for him. And that was just like, that whole line was really good, right? Like, Norris was incredible tonight too. I thought, I think he's an easy honorable mention for a standout, but Drake Batherson, can't say enough about how well he played tonight. Yeah, for sure. It was great.
All right. Go ahead, Pills.
And like our friend Bisla mentions here, the Nova Scotia Summer's doing Drake all sorts of good. Like, when you're able to train with the best in the league, like Nathan McKinnon was even talking about how he brings Drake over to his house and they work at his gym. Like, being able to train with Ross, we've been talking about dogs. Nate McKinnon is the dog, and having to train in the off season with him, you're ramping things up. Yeah. So like that's going a long way. And to have the respect level from a guy like Nathan McKinnon to be like, you're coming over, we're training. That's huge. So yeah, Drake Batherson might be like, that contract just looks so good right now. Like, I kind of have Batherson as an untouchable just because the value that he has on that deal is amazing.
Tell Brucey to hop on the postcast. What a guy. He probably wants your pillowcase is what he wants. Hey, imagine Bobo putting his head down on that Sparty pillowcase. What a guy. Drake Batherson, by the way, we always look at those hockey stat cards to either reinforce or question our eye test. Drake Batherson, by far, first in this game. Jake Sanderson, second. Are we snapping it around twice, snake style?
Yeah, you go for it.
What did I say, boys? Claude Giroux legacy game. And he came out firing. Gets an assist early. He was buzzing in this game. Loved what I saw from him. A rare night where he's below 50% in the dot, 46.7, but he played 21-35, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's the most he's played in a game this season. That whole line with him, Norris, and Batherson was fantastic today.
Yeah, I thought so as well. And they needed to shake things up, and I'm glad they did, and it worked out.
Giroux's highest minutes per game this season was 18:45 Thursday against the Devils. He was at 21:35 in this game. Led all forwards in ice time for Ottawa.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a great game, and we needed that from him. Nice response from, probably not his best game ever last game. So I think he heard the chatter, and he just wanted to shut people up, and that's what he does. He looked good out there for sure. He was finding lanes all night, Ross. Like the crispy passes through the seams. He was, unreal. Great vision all the time. That pass on that Batherson goal was
on the Norris goal. On the Norris goal.
Sorry, yeah.
Nothing goal.
He passed it over to Batherson too on that one-timer.
Right. So there you go. Those were his two
great passes, primary assists that lead to goals. So
both in the first period, right? Those are the first two goals of the game.
They're going.
He came ready today. Yeah.
He was
maybe those matinees just seem to agree with that old body, eh? It's just like,
wake up, get to the rink, and get it done. Hey, his kids rang the bell today. If you're gonna have a gimmick like the bell, at least do stuff like that. Let the kids have some fun.
Like that.
I think that made it a little bit better, even though the little timing was a little off on the first ring on the bell tonight. But
he's 10 years old, buddy.
I know. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Martian's holding people accountable. That's the new Sens, Ross.
Oh my goodness, that is outrageous.
Hey, they got it on the third try, boys. That's all that matters. They ended up getting it right eventually. So.
Martian, how'd you find the fourth line today? Because I thought they had a couple either 50-50 or even 60-40 shifts.
Well, I really liked Nick Cousins' game tonight. I thought that he was flying around out there pretty good. Obviously, Noah Gregor, he came out ready to play too. He ended up getting that really nice shorthanded goal. That was a really nice finish from him too. So I that probably leads. It's my turn, right? So next standout, I think for me, it's Noah Gregor. I thought that he had a really solid game tonight. I think you said it. The fourth line was buzzing all night. They were on the right side of things. They weren't giving up much, but they were getting pucks in deep and doing their thing. So Noah Gregor, yeah, I was surprised to see the shorty come out of him like that. Like it was a really nice finish, and what more can I say? Good night from him.
You could tell him that he's on the third line. Give him a little respect here. That's a third line player.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't get a like.
Well, he's out there so much, but
my morning started so fast. Everything was happening quickly. I didn't even realize Allmark wasn't starting until I was almost at the rink. So things happened fast for me. So I didn't get a good view of the lineup tonight.
And as we like to do, we pull up the Nat Statra cards, or I think it's hockey cards on Twitter. I actually want to give them a shout out here. They're great hockey stat cards. And that matches the eye test. Noah Gregor up top and matches my eye test too. Travis Hamonic up there too. I thought that he was solid defensively in this game as well. So I'm actually cool with Noah Gregor being a standout. I would have picked a couple more guys before him, but I respect the choice. And he ends up getting what ends up being the deciding goal in this game too. So you got to respect that as well.
Yeah, Noah Gregor was going to be my pick. I thought he had a nice game, and that goal was awesome. So I like that one, Martian. I'm going to go with Josh Norris.
Yes, that's what I was hoping you go with.
Yeah, because he's getting it going early this season. In 5 games, he's got 3 goals, 2 assists, so a point per game guy. You'll love to see that from Norris, and he was able to put that one away when he needed to. Like Giroux did a great job of he brings it down the wing, holds it, is patient, and it almost was one of those plays where I was like, I don't want Giroux to wrap it around here. Like I wish he would have taken a shot or send it towards the net or something, because he waited till he was at the goal line and then he dished it all the way across the slot. I think there was even a defenseman there, and somehow it lands right on Norris's stick. And if you put it right on the tape for Josh Norris in the slot with time and space, he gets paid to finish those, and he finished this one. So
bury pucks,
that's why he makes the big bucks, to bury pucks, and he did it on that one, and he's got 3 this season. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from Josh Norris this season so far.
And just like Claude Giroux, he was up over 21 minutes today.
Yep.
21-14 in this game.
Yeah, I really like the physicality out of him tonight. I think there was a moment there, he had a good chance, and then next thing you know, he's in the mix in the scrum, and he's just hammering guys. Like nice big block shot there too. I think that was in the second period or maybe early in the third. But Josh Norris, incredible night. I actually left him off my Senders stocks, and I regretted it because I think that he deserved a little bit of a boost tonight. Yeah,
you regretted it so much you passed on him in your standouts for Noah Gregor.
I know. I should have actually gone with Josh Norris. So I'm glad you did, Pillsy. Hey, way to give the man his flowers. He deserves it.
Hey, way to go, Pills. Hey,
thanks, Pillsy.
Snaps for Pills.
Hey,
Way to go. Way to go.
It's a 3-man game. We'll pick each other up here.
And it's a 3-man game down the middle for the Ottawa Senators. Norris, Pinto, Stutzle all find their way onto the score sheet. We've got the stat right here.
I was going to say,
when those three play in the same game, the Ottawa Senators are now 28, 15, and 3. And maybe more impressive than that, Martian, I don't think you were here for this. When just Shane Pinto records a point in his career, the Senators are now 42, 10, and 6.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
That's a crazy, like, weird stat.
Hey, somebody's got to track it. That's what we do here. The stats department over at the Postcast. Hey, we were hard on the crowd on Thursday. Was it better today? I know matinee, a lot of kids in the crowd. How was it?
Yeah, you know what? It was a little bit better. Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know what it is about, the air. And it's a beautiful day here in Ottawa too. It's really easy for the fans, I think, to enjoy this one. Those matinees just like they hit different. So the crowd was definitely better, even though like there were some empty seats like in the middle of the 100 section and like areas that you would expect it to be a little bit more full, but I think we'll get there. Obviously, if the team starts showing that they're a winning team, then I think that we'll see those seats filled. But energy-wise, for the amount of people who were there, I think it was probably, if I had to guess, around 18,000 tonight, like maybe not quite. But yeah, I think that it was a good amount of energy for the amount of people who were in there.
It helps when you score your first goal in the first 2 minutes rather than the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Especially when it's a 5-on-3 goal like that one, like Martian, we were asking people in chat that were at the game. So I'll ask you, like, did the roof just blow off that place on that Batherson goal on that 5-on-3? Cause that seemed like it really got the place rocking.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I feel like too, like that. I mean, those power plays were essential for the Sens to get off to a good start in this game, obviously. And then I think that one thing it did, and me and my buddy were talking about this on the car ride home too. It kind of iced Tampa's big boys, right? Yep. It was, a guy like Kucherov who he didn't see many shifts in that first 5 minutes of the game, so he probably and he still ended up having 2 points tonight. So it's not like he was absolutely shut down, but
for Kucherov, that is.
It took him a while to get going, I think is what I'm getting at with that. So I think, the Sens getting a couple early power plays there was key. The first one was an easy call. And then the second one with the puck going out of bounds was like, okay, here we go. And the Sens didn't let us down there. It was great.
No, they didn't. So the vibes in the arena solid as the Senators finished their 3-game homestand. And now they take off for Utah on Tuesday, where Ridley Gregg, Linus Ullmark will accompany the team. So still day-to-day, but the fact that they're winning games where their goaltender save percentage is below 900. Today, Forsberg had, that was Vasilevskiy with an 821. Forsberg had an 862 save percentage against a perfect undefeated team, and it was exactly that, good enough. Pilsy, what'd you think of the goaltending in this game?
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes as a hashtag goalie friendly show, I'm a little bit more apologetic to goalies, especially when they get the win. Usually I'll cut a little more slack there, but yeah, I wasn't too upset at any of the goals Forsberg led in this game. Like, not like the Devils game where Bastion just ripped it in short side clean. You got to have those ones, but I think, and Martian, you might disagree, and that's fine. I'll let you go after this, but I think the big thing is I need a veteran goalie to be able to be like, all right, it's a 5-4 game. One of the top offensive teams in the league, especially when they pull their goalie, they got amazing players out there, 6-man unit. If you're shutting those plays down and not only getting the saves, but holding it, covering it, and slowing things down, allowing to get line changes and fresh legs on the ice, I'm happy with even in, what was it, Ross, an 868 save percentage. I'll
62, but we can give him 68 if you want to round up.
Sure, I'll do that.
How often do you have an 860 save percentage and out goaltend the Tampa Bay Lightning when Vasilevsky's starting? I mean, like, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think there was one goal maybe he wanted to have back, Pilsy, but
the Gensel.
Yeah, and I think the point here though is like, at the end of the game, when the game was on the line and he needed to make saves, he made the saves. Exactly. So I'm not going to give Forsberg any piece of a hard time here tonight. But hey, I got a really funny little side story here. I just got a text because my buddy left his phone at the rink, so I messaged. I messaged Bruce. I said, "Hey, you mind just running up there and seeing if it's still there?" And sure enough, Bruce Garriock has my buddy's phone right now.
Attaboy.
So anyone who says Bruce isn't a good guy, he's doing a good guy thing right here. He just did me a big favor and saved my buddy.
Good guy, Bruce.
Shekels for sure.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find. They used to have this on NHL.com. I'd love to know, and maybe I could find it through how many shots Tampa had on the power play, because Ottawa was a perfect 3 for 3 on the kill. But I feel like Forsberg was his best when the Sens were shorthanded, and they needed that today. He was calm, and my favorite part, and early in the game it happened as well, his rebound control was awesome tonight. He wasn't allowing these slot rebounds where that's how he's gotten beat multiple times this season. Little spin around shots in the slot, that sort of thing. And I know there was one where I think it was Nick Paul's goal, if I'm not mistaken, where it was kind of a bouncer in the middle of the slot, but Chabot was trying to swipe at the puck, but instead he put it right out there. But I thought he was fantastic with his rebounds. And to me, that's the number one thing that can give your team confidence from the crease, is when you're Velcro and things are hitting you and sticking. That way you can get changes. Your guys aren't stuck out there in the defensive zone chasing it. And I thought that was a big reason why the Ottawa Senators were able to not get all flustered when goals did happen, because they felt like he would make the next save.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Ross, especially when you're down or your top defensive defenseman in Zub. Having the opportunity to not let those rebounds get out and have your defenseman have to scramble to try to block shots or just whack at it to try to clear it or just get it out of the slot, that's going to go a long way. And it gets noticed, I'm sure, among the team and in video. That's definitely going to be pointed out. So, yeah, nice game, Forsberg. Nice game.
Meanwhile, Andrei Vasilevskiy, even though he does have a winning record, he's now 10-7 against the Senators. Going into today, he had an .895 career save percentage against Ottawa. Add in an .821 today. Bring us Vasilevskiy. Is that back on, Pilsy?
Let's bring it back on. Give us Vazzy. Let's do it.
Give him to me. Even though we did that, and then I think he let in one goal in back-to-back games against Ottawa, but no more.
Us,
no more. He did humble us. That's why we got Brian Elliott for a while. We got Jonas. Didn't we have Matt Tompkins at the start of last season?
I don't think I've seen Vasilevskiy in the building in Ottawa in a long time. So it was actually nice to see them give us a little bit of respect and start him for once.
That's something I want to track too, because for the past 4 years, it was automatic. Like, we would joke about it before the other team's lineup was reported. You're just like, they're giving us the backup, even if it's not a hectic travel or a back-to-back or anything. They're just like, it's the Sens. Let the backup have this one.
Not today.
No,
not today. So good effort today from the Ottawa Senators. They find a way to win. The Tampa Bay Lightning are no longer perfect. The Ottawa Senators get the first win against them this season. There are no more perfect teams in the Eastern Conference. So love that for the Ottawa Senators, and just the vibes, because now they're off Sunday, Monday, and then we got to wait till 9:15 Eastern on Tuesday night. Like, that's awesome to carry that feel good Saturday night. I feel like it's a green light for the boys tonight. They got a long travel day tomorrow. I'd imagine they're going to fly out, get adjusted to the time zone. It's mountain time, right? Pilsy in Utah?
Utah's mountain time.
So 2-hour time change. Go on Sunday, get a good night's sleep. Monday, practice in the altitude, and then Tuesday morning skate. You're good to go. 3-2, the Ottawa Senators record. Martian, give me some final thoughts on what you witnessed today, boots on the ground.
Really fun game, really exciting game. If you haven't made it out to a game at the CTC yet this season, I highly recommend it. That was a blast. I love the way the team played. I liked how all the big boys were getting on the board, and it was just, for me, very fun, very solid. That's what we need. Ross has got the bucket coming on here now, and
we got to do our hardest working Ottawa Senator in this game, boys.
Presented by Hims.
Hardest working Sen from Hims.
Ross, you give it. You got that helmet on already.
Yeah, just let's do one guy, Ross. You got it.
It's always one guy. Travis Hamonic. He stepped up today.
Okay.
I actually like it. He put his work boots on. He was hard defensively. I'd love to know the time on ice against the top line of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm sure we can find that somehow. But for him to block shots, especially on that 5-on-3 kill. He had the first of those 3 where it was then Norris, then Giroux. He set the tone that nothing was going to get in the danger home plate area. And I thought that Hammer brought his today.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. I will also throw out, I gave Gaudette a bit of a hard time in the last postcast, maybe a little bit unwarranted, I would say, but I think that he had a better game tonight too, and Zach McEwen as well. I think he had a nice night as well again.
He did.
He's been looking better this season. Zach McEwen has.
He has definitely.
I like what he's bringing. He's
props to the guys who don't. I like giving props to the guys who don't get it often when they do have a good game. So.
Yeah, he was challenging guys too. Like there was a time I thought they were going to drop the mitts, but whoever it was, I think it was Cernak, didn't want the smoke. So it's good.
Well, with that Muzzy, would you?
No, I mean no.
He looks like Burt Reynolds out there, man. He looks unbelievable. Yeah. It's becoming a trend. I don't know if you saw Allmark's media yesterday. He's rocking the stash too. We might have to become a stash friendly show, boys.
I haven't rocked just a stash in a long time. I might have to get approval from the boss for that one, but November. We'll do it for November.
It's right around the corner. That's where I was going to go with this. I already kind of had it in my head that I wanted to do a Sens Twitter Movember team. I think that if we team up on this, boys, I think that we could do a lot of good for men's health and raise a lot of money and also have a little fun with it. So I think
if we're doing that, we're going clean shaven on day one.
Yeah, let's commit to it.
Okay, cool.
Let's commit to it right now.
And straight Muzzy. Where we all got more than just the Muzzy going on. We got to go straight Muzzy.
We'll 100%. See. I'll be there in spirit. I don't know.
What you don't want the newborn to first image of you.
First
you just
photos,
got a greasy duster.
No, that's iconic. You should do that. That makes it better.
That's classic dad move. Actually,
I may not be allowed in the room. If I've got that.
You look back at that 10 years from now and it'll be hilarious.
Well, it's going to be a December baby anyways, Ross. So we're not worried about that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, because nothing good happens in November for anybody associated with the Ottawa Senators. But hey, maybe the tides are turning because this road trip is huge. I don't need to tell the people in the chat, the 400 people that are rocking with us, the citizens here, win or lose, we vent or vibe. And frig, do I ever like vibing more? I know, but
isn't it nice?
It was the VentCast. Martian and I almost dropped the gloves on Thursday talking about the fourth line. Like we were a little testy in here, so it's a lot nicer today.
You know what? When me and Ross are butting heads, it's always kind of funny. I told him after, I'm like, dude, I think it's actually good for the show when we start arguing.
Imagine an Adam Gaudette argument. That's what does us in. It's over. We cannot agree on our Adam Gaudette takes. Cancel the show.
That's what it was. It was Gaudette.
It was a good run. Yeah. I was like, he's 56% in the dot.
Yeah, but he can't score, Ross.
But he played
easy, boys. Easy, boys.
He only had 8 minutes.
What I was gonna say to all the citizens out there: 114-1 last year, west of the Eastern Time Zone. The next 3 games are all just that. Even though the Vegas game is a 5 p.m. Eastern start, so.
Yes, we talked about that.
Maybe a little voodoo there. A little.
I mean, listen. I think that has its. I would be looking at the Sens to have the rookie party that night. I think that in Vegas early in the season, I think that's the perfect opportunity for them to have a rookie party. So I don't know. I might be shying away from that one if I'm betting on this.
Yeah, and Martian, that's a good call because the game on Utah is Tuesday and they don't play in Vegas till Friday. So maybe you hop on the jet a little early.
You do it early though, because you can't go Friday night after the game because you're in altitude on Sunday.
Yeah, do it early for sure.
Yeah, I think the boys are gonna know what they're doing there. I think they're gonna get down there early and mix it up on the strip. Whatever that is, that Wednesday night, and then have a couple days recovery. Get the IV drip going. Hit the tables a little bit maybe, and away you go.
Yeah, because if you have a choice between rookie party in Salt Lake City and Vegas, no disrespect, Salt Lake City, you're taking Vegas.
Yeah, you probably are. And even a little Halloween theme that's coming up in just a week and a half. So
there you go.
Hey, it's all good vibes right now for the Ottawa Senators. It feels good that they're 3-2 and that they've handled adversity this season. Imagine if Linus Ullmark wasn't looming. There would be some serious doubts.
And that's why. Oh, Marcia, go ahead.
No, I real quick, it was just like them being 2-1 without Allmark starting is that's impressive. That's good stuff. So sorry, Pills, go ahead.
Oh, no worries.
Even though they've allowed how many goals?
Yeah, a lot, but they're
Don't
scoring
look
more.
at that. Wins. 2 wins.
And then to flip it, Martian, they're 1-1 with Allmark. So like, sure, he's the first star of the home opener, and you don't even come close to winning that game without him. But they haven't. It's kind of shown that maybe they're not as fragile without him and without that number one goalie than we thought for a short time period. Before everybody goes nuts on me here, reminding me about how the last years have went without a number one goalie. I get that, but at least for the time being, they've been good. And I'll spin zone it. I think it's a good thing that I'm pretty sure Allmark could have played, but like we talked about, I think they're doing the smart thing and being like, we got extra days on the road up against Utah, save him for that. And you have to see not only Forsberg step up, and he shut the door at the end of the game like we talked about, you have to see that to have confidence moving forward, not only if, God forbid, Allmark gets hurt again, but just you're going to have to play Forsberg. He's going to play some back-to-backs and some other games. You're going to need him to step up, so you need that. But also, you need the team mentality of not being like, oh man, it's not an Allmark start. Like, we're going to have to block so many more shots. This is going to be difficult. We're going to be behind on the first two shots. And we're going to have to play catch up. You got to squash that narrative. And they did a great job of doing that. Like we mentioned, they weren't chasing at all this game. They had the lead, lost it, didn't lose it, but it was tied. Then they got it back. Momentum goals, the penalty kill and the power play was looking good. So these are the types of small little victories you need to compound and keep growing if you're going to have success in a grinding 82-game season.
Hour-long postcast. We're grinding through it as well. But it's a Saturday. It's feel good. And we appreciate each and every one of the citizens for rocking with us after a Senators win. 5-4, the final score. The Senators beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. They improved to 3-2 on the season. And the franchise tier of our organizational value rankings are leading the way. Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stutzle, Jake Sanderson, all with 7 points in the team's first 5 games. We'll be back on Monday with a recap of this weekend. Julian McKenzie from The Athletic will join us this week. Kyle Bukauskas will join us this week from Sportsnet. We've got a great week planned for you, and the Senators will hit the road and head to Salt Lake City. Let's get some Go Sens Go, some GSGs in the chat.
All caps.
As I tell you that the postcast is presented by the Glebe Central Pub. The vibes are free at the GCP. For more, you can follow us all on our social medias. The links are in the bio. You can shop at the Sens Central store and a whole lot more. Thank you for making Locked On Senators a part of your daily routine. For today, we say goodbye. For Lalime's Martian and Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been a Vibecast after the Senators beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-4. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will chat with you on the Locked On Senators podcast on Monday. It's your team every day.